Well, I think we are live. Wow. Welcome back to the Big Dig Live. It seems like it's been forever. A lot of things have been going on, vacation, and we've been going children's camp, etc. And then when we try to get back on, of course, the weather hit, and I thought that I had lightning to run in on my board, but evidently it's not that. So we're still, it's doing a lot better than it was. So if for some reason the sound goes away, if you're watching the show, please comment, let me know. But tonight I just wanted to have a show, just to kind of, get us back on track a little bit. Next week's show will be at a different time. Hey, Mom, glad you're here. Yeah, if you can hear me okay, then hopefully everything is going well. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about our trip that we had. It was Mom and I and Miranda and the kids, and we went to Dauphin Island, Alabama, for our vacation, and it was an eventful trip getting there. Kind of uneventful up until we hit Mobile, Alabama. And so when we get to Mobile, of course, Dauphin Island is that. It's literally an island, and there's not a lot there in regards to a Walmart or something of that nature. So we got our supplies in Mobile at the Walmart, and so we stopped in there. It had rained off and on for a few hours as we're getting it down into there. But we started getting a lot of weather reports and things of that. And so in between showers, Miranda and the kids run into the Walmart, grab our supplies, and when they come back out, we start, heading towards Dauphin Island. We have to go Dauphin Island Highway, which is basically, it's a 2-lane road, straight and flat. It was flooded, and it was a little sketchy. I won't lie. It was a little sketchy. But the water was about maybe 2 inches deep, but it wasn't running. It was standing. So we just took it easy. Everybody was a little nervous about that. And then we get over to the causeway. And as we get ready to go over the causeway bridge onto Dauphin Island, it opens up a monsoon of rain. And so we, as we're driving over the bridge, and I look out, and you can't even see the bay. I'm going to share some pictures that I've got. These are in, I'll have to see if I can get the order here. Let me see if I can find the right one I'm looking for first. And then this is right here. This is going over the causeway bridge. So, you can barely see the bay. If you can look ahead in the picture, that's where it's straight, flat, right above the water. And then you hit a bridge, and you go over the bridge, and it's straight, flat. And then you wind up on the island. But this was our view, so it was really sketchy. And then when we got onto the island, it was flooded. Again, not super deep, but we just didn't know if we was going to make it in there or not. But, I said, I told everyone, I said, if God brought us this far, I'm going to trust him to bring us the rest of the way. But that got me to thinking, and I'm going to share just a few different photos. I'm kind of off camera here, kind of picking out some different photos. Let's see here. This was some of the flooding on the actual island. This is the main road. Let's see if these are in order. This is this is the what you're seeing. That first batch of water is the main road on the island on the west end. And there's a view from a car. So it was little, like I said, a little sketchy, a little unnerving, but I think we all learned a lesson in, trusting in God. Um, but it brought something to mind for me, and I'll share that in a little bit. Let me go back to these and let's see if I can pick out the next slide. Let's see here. Here's a nice picture of, I think it's on maybe the last evening before we left the next day. This guy kind of just walks up to crane, some type of crane. So that was kind of neat. This is a picture that someone else took of the lighthouse that's down there. That lighthouse is 3 miles, I think they said, away. Hello, Aunt Eileen. That lighthouse is 3 miles off of the coast, and it's it's a really old lighthouse, and they're doing all they can to preserve it. Okay, they said that they have added some concrete and different things to try to shore it up, as they say, and so it's always neat when we get to see that lighthouse. We love lighthouses anyways, but this one is kind of special to us. And then, so let's see here. This was found on another beach on the Gulf the same week we were there. Someone was out in the surf and they stepped on something. And when they went to, see what that was, that's what they pulled out. That's a Spanish, probably 1700s Spanish sword. In monetary value, there's no telling what that thing is worth. But I just thought that was really neat. And then this happened. So like I said, we were in Mobile and we got out of Mobile just in the nick of time to get into the light flooding, if you will. I call it light flooding, down the Dauphin Island Highway and onto the island. Well, Mobile, after we left, got 17 inches of rain, and this was filmed, I think, around Gulf Shores, which is all relatively close. All of it is. But if you'll count them, there's like 7 water spouts there, or 7 tornadoes, however you want to call that. That's basically a water spout is a water tornado. So the weather the first day was crazy. Let's see here. There's a picture, just a nice sunset. And in the distance, got our 2 kiddos in the water, and there's Miranda taking a picture of them. I didn't know that was happening at the same time, but this area that they're in this picture is not in the Gulf. It's part of the Gulf, but they have made through big boulders called jetties. It's made a big lagoon with a small inlet. So we had red flags all week where we couldn't get in the water because of the riptides. So we found this little spot on the east end of the island, and they were able to swim and play with crabs and all kinds of different sea creatures and so forth. So they what could have been a bad time turned out to be a really good time. This was another picture that came in the same week at a different beach. Now, what this is, of course, as you can see, it's a shark's head, but that's all it is. So evidently a bigger shark probably took this one out. So I just found that to be an interesting picture. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, this is when I thought of the fog, and this popped up somewheres on a Facebook or somewheres, and I like ships, old ships like that. And I saw this picture and I just saved it. Okay. And then I think, let's see, is the other one in there? I think the other one's in there somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, same picture, same boat, just a different thing. So it got me to thinking about the fog. And of course, as I was thinking about it from a spiritual standpoint, I thought about forgetting our God. And I use this as a teaching lesson to the third graders that I teach at church. And I was like, how appropriate is it that, we can't see for the fog, and the fog makes us nervous. It makes us uneasy, not certain, about whatever we might be going through, in just driving down the road, and you can't see too far ahead. You can't see what's on the other side of the fog, if you will. And I was just thinking that's kind of what we do spiritually, because when we forget who our God is, we're in a spiritual fog. But what we don't realize is, and going back to the other picture, if I can get back to it, maybe the other way, probably is. Yep, it's the other way. So, what's behind the fog is clarity. If we get past the fog, we come into clarity spiritually. If you don't give in to the fog, and you turn your ears off to a lot of times what people are saying, the noise, as we call it too, and you stay focused on what God has presented and his truth, that he would never leave us nor forsake us. And we can go through all kinds of scriptures that talk about that, but it's like you get clarity. And that's what was there in essence all along. So it's kind of an interesting, it was just, I don't know if you call it an epiphany or what it was. But I just thought, it was just really neat to have that contrast of those two pictures. And then it related really well with our trip. Let me just give a plug for Dauphin Island. If you want to get to the beach and you want to get there probably the quickest, I would think, it's to Dauphin Island. It takes I think it took us about, well, if we hadn't stopped, of course, we have to stop seemed like every 2 hours for a bathroom break. But I think it's about 6 hours. Miranda's in here. Hey, Miranda, if you might chime in on that and to say how long it was from. I know we stopped at her mom and dad's the night before, stayed all night there, which cut off some time. So it'd been about 3 hours more, and I think it's 8 or 9 hours that you can make it down there. Beautiful, the Gulf of Mexico. If you've never been to the Gulf of Mexico versus other places, I think it's one of the prettiest areas that there is. White sandy beaches, and under normal circumstances, the water is pretty blue. 8 hours with stops is what she says. So 8 hours with stops. So, it was, like I said, it's just a really cool getaway. Like there's gift shops, and there's one resort. Mostly it's beach houses, little mom and pop shops type place, but there is no Walmart. There's like a bank or two. There was a lady on the island that cut hair, and I had her give me a haircut while I was down there. But I mean, it's just, one little grocery store that you can, and it had everything. I've never seen a store. Fishing supplies, plumbing, it had everything. But there's a lot of good places to eat. One place that we really enjoyed was Pirates Cove, and it's on the, let me think, I think it's on the, I'm not sure, I think it may have been the east end of the island, maybe. Yeah, it was on the east end of the island, I think. And but the views, just sitting down to eat your meal, and it's right out on, basically right, you're seeing the Gulf of Mexico. It was really neat. And we took a dolphin trip. I don't know if I think that was that in here? I don't know if I put that even in here. I don't think I did. But if you follow me on Facebook or Miranda on Facebook, you've seen some of the pictures of, we took a dolphin cruise, I guess you call it, or a little scenic cruise that took us out, and we got to, they had nets on the back, so they shrimped. They call it shrimping. So they shrimp and got, a bunch of sea life in the nets and brought it up into this big table looking thing. And of course, picked out all this, all the stuff that would be dangerous or whatever. And then we got to feed, hand feed even, seagulls that rode along, getting a meal. And then at one point, we got to, there were some dolphins that started playing on the back of the boat, and we fed them. And one of them came up to surface as I was looking over the back of the boat and sprayed me with water. I was like, if you want to be one with nature, that's one way to do it. But yeah, I had a good time there. I mean, both of our kids got to drive the boat. They let them drive for a little bit, and they thought that was awesome. And so it was just like like I said, if you want to get away, if you want a trip that, you're not doing this and then doing this, or your itinerary is kind of laid back, this is the place to go. But it wouldn't have changed our minds, the weather that was coming in or whatever. But, I did pay very close attention to what kind of weather. But at the same time, it's like, it was just an amazing trip and a good getaway. And it was probably one of our favorite trips we've taken on vacation, because you just weren't, like I said, it wasn't, we're going here this day and here this day and here this day, and then we're going to do this in the afternoon. It was just kind of a laid back thing. We did a few things, and on the way back, we were planning to go over into Mississippi. I think it was Jackson, Mississippi. And it was supposed to be an alligator farm and a airboat ride type setup. But because of all the rain, they were flooded out. So we went to digging on the internet, and we found one up. I know we went through the town of Loxley, Alabama. And anyway, we wound up at Alligator Alley, Alligator Farm. It was just so hot, but we had a good time there. And the kids got to hold a baby alligator. Miranda held a baby alligator. I held a baby alligator. And we watched them feed them. They had some big boys in there, some like 15 feet long. Had some smaller ones and some snakes and all this stuff. It was kind of in a swampy area. So it was a good time for them to experience that, and everything. But anyway, I wanted to share that. I wanted to, like I said, I'm sorry for all the delays and, being out and all this. Of course, I didn't realize how much summertime really, takes up your time until, you have something that's kind of consistent. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, okay, we're going to be out here. We're going to be out here. And next week at our church is Vacation Bible School. So be sure, if nothing else, to pray. I think we'll probably wind up with 500 to 700 kids, and just pray that God moves. God's doing a great work. From our children's camp, I don't know if I even said this on the past show, or I don't even remember when the past show was, but we had 7 salvations from that, at the children's camp. So we're, super excited about that, and what potentially is coming. We just feel like that I think it's the fields are ripe for harvest, and all he needs is workers to do the work. So, we're gonna do our best with that. But anyway, but yeah, like I said, the whole thing with the fog, I just thought that was really a cool thing that kind of God had laid on my heart. And so that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. Try to get back on a show, like I said, all the technical difficulties and then, with the storms and being in and out. Like I said, this Sunday we'll not have a show on. So this is kind of that show. And then next week when we have VBS, we won't have a show. So it'll be a different time, and I'll try to post that as soon as we can. I don't know if I shared it with you guys yet, but we have a new member of our crew, if you will, and his name is Tristan, and he's in the background. He does some things with our YouTube channel. As we go into it, if we can figure out some different things to kind of tweak the Facebook side of things, he's that guy, and he's going to be helping with our graphics and getting us into the algorithms. You have to get into algorithms in order to be seen and heard a lot on YouTube. So he'll help with that. So we're very appreciative of him coming on board and all that. It's kind of like what we called him the wizard Jonathan used to do. So Jonathan's kind of handed off the torch with him, and so we're excited about that. So Tyler is he's floating around. I'm just kind of giving these, this show here was kind of a spur of the moment more than a real planned out show. Lamar and his wife, they're out on vacation in Colorado, having a big time out there. He sent a couple pictures back, so when he gets back, we'll try to share some of those pictures with you. And so we are getting, we're intentional at getting back to, like what we have had, good Bible studies, etc. We are just the summer is just kind of caught up with us, I think, a little bit, but that's okay. Be watching for what they call shorts, basically small video clips. We're going to try to start doing a few of those here and there as we can understand all that and why the need for that is. It is what it is, and so we'll be working on that. And then, like I said, we're going to try to, as we went into YouTube and kind of looked at the backside of YouTube to kind of get some things squared away, we're going to try to do the same thing with Facebook in due time. I know that we have what looks like I know we've had some people in on Facebook and some on YouTube. So hopefully the audio is good, and hopefully all that's working out as it should. Let me see if there's any other pictures. I see went through that one. Yeah, there's all those. We'll go the other way. Yeah, that lighthouse, it's old. The brick is old, real old. So it's just kind of cool to see this one specifically. Yeah. And I think that's it. Well, the flooding's on the other end here. But, that island is very resilient. It's been through massive hurricanes, Katrina, Ian, and it has survived. A lot of erosion and things like that on that island, but it has survived. And, that's kind of another metaphor for us. All of us have been through something in our life, death in some cases with a spouse or a family member, or some type of disease or whatever it may be. But, just as that island is a survivor, we are survivors. And it goes back to our faith and our trust in God. And so I just want to encourage everybody, if you have a down day, kind of go back and think of, if it helps you, go back and think about FOG. When we get into the fog, we are forgetting our God. That's what I come up with on it anyway. But this is not a very long show tonight. We're not going to get into a Bible study per se. I just wanted to share with you guys, kind of give you an update about where things are. We're not leaving by any means. I was a little panicked about the audio the other night. I was 2 minutes away from going live, and that's when everything kind of went bluey. And so, but I wanted to get on here and to try to share with you guys, what's going on. So be watching. I don't know how you get your, I assume most people get their notifications or whatever. Reach out to me. If you are not getting notifications or whatever, I do post. I try to post midweek or around there before the weekend hits. On a normal week schedule, I try to, let you know about the show when it's coming up and what it's about a little bit. And I know that Tristan will be working on some of that too going forward. So we're always trying to upgrade it, make it better. There's going to be some variety shows. Also, I'm contemplating another aspect to the show that I haven't really talked about to anybody much, but we'll see about it, because it's if I did it, it's going to be a big undertaking, and I don't know if I have that type of time. But it would have to do with the weather, and so I've reached out to some meteorology friends of mine inquiring about it. So I don't know if we'll take off on that or not, but I do want to have variety shows where we do some interviews with people, and that we sit down on different topics, different subjects. May not be biblical type things like study of weather, or interview some musicians and things like that. And so we'll take a look at that as we go forward, and be watching for, like I said, the shorts every once in a while. Those will probably be filmed on my phone. If God lays something on my heart that I think would be something helpful to contemplate, or maybe a verse or a scripture verse, whatever that might just kind of speak to me a certain day, I may just post, record a short video about it, and then we'll throw it up there and for people to check out and things like that. Like I said, as you can see on the ticker or the crawler, I always say it, be sure that you like every video, if you would, for us. If you've enjoyed just seeing the short video tonight, just go down, I think, and just click like or follow or whatever you need to do. Subscribe, share it. Be sure your notifications are on. And we usually, on normal circumstances, we meet on Sunday nights at 7 Central Time, 8 Eastern. Then, of course, all the old shows are on rumble.com that you can go back and check out if you miss a show or something like that. And I think that's it for today. I'm just glad we were able to get all this stuff up and running again, and that it wasn't worse than what it was. And I think it's overall in good shape. Anyway, so do they have any? I'll kind of wait here for a second. If there's anybody that has anything before I hang it up here. But thank you all for being loyal listeners and followers and all that. Be sure that you're sharing with your family or friends, that may have computers and, like to listen and watch the different things. This is something hopefully that everybody can get something out of. Like I said, we'll be out of town this Sunday night. So this show here covers for that. And then we will try to plan out a show sometime next week. It won't be at our normal time, though. It will be at a different time because we'll be in VBS. And by the way, happy birthday, happy belated. Well, actually yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry, was our daughter Jenna's birthday, and she turned 10. So happy birthday, Jenna. We love you very much. Today she had to have a tooth pulled. So it's been a very interesting couple of days, but tomorrow we celebrate. We're going to go celebrate with a bunch of people, have a big party at the water park. And so we'll get out there and be sweating to the oldies, as they say. But anyway, thank y'all so much for coming in, and we'll catch you next time on the Big Dig Live. See you later.